I think the one we should just start with is Derek G and what's going on there, because this is one I did not have on my bingo card for this transfer season.
Yeah, for those who don't know, what's going on is that Derek G has terminated his contract with Israel Premier Tech, which was a contract, I believe it was signed in 2023, and it was a 5-year deal until 2028. That was obviously after his fantastic Giro d'Italia in 2022, where he got like a million second places or something like that. So he signed a 5-year contract deal in 2023, but that has been ripped apart for all intents and purposes. It's a little bit confusing as to what is actually going on. There's a lot of legal stuff, but essentially, I think Israel Premier Tech still believe that he is obligated to see out his contract and that they don't think it's very just what's happening. Whereas Derek G, his legal representatives or something have, I don't know, have basically just terminated his contract. So I think it's now sort of in the hands of the UCI to act as the ombudsman, I suppose, the regulators in this situation, and try and figure out whether what has happened here is allowed or not. It's not the first time that we've seen contracts terminated. One doesn't jump to mind, but we have seen people leave early. And, well, our speculation will obviously be on where he might go, but Derek G put out a statement saying that doesn't have any connection to any team at the moment. I don't know whether to believe that or not. I think that, the sharks start circling once they taste blood, don't they? So I think that there will be some teams who are already interested in signing Derek G. And it's a bit of a weird one because he had that long-term contract, and it just seems like a bit of a theme now cycling with Evenepoel being bought out of his contract. I know that Derek G hasn't been bought out of his contract, but just these sort of going against the norm, of you have a contract, you see it out, then you can change teams then. But what do you think of this whole thing, Scott?
Yeah, it's such a weird story. In his statement, what was he saying? He was saying something like, I confirm that my contract with Israel Premier Tech has formally and duly terminated by my legal representatives. This was not an easy decision, but one I made after careful consideration and for legitimate reasons. We don't know what the reasons are. Certain issues simply made my continuation at the team untenable. I want to make it clear, despite some current reporting, this decision solely concerns the termination of my previous contract with Israel Premier Tech. In accordance with UCI regulations, like you said, I have not signed nor even spoken to any team. I would like to know what those reasons was, but I don't think we are going to know that. And this comes off like not completely, but him getting the 4th place in the Giro d'Italia, it all seemed fine. They're moving up to World Tour. Kind of that poster boy, I think he is. And it is a Canadian Israel team. It's more Canadian than Israeli. So, obviously Sylvan Adams is the owner. He's Israeli Canadian. So, if it's political reasons, probably might be. Who knows? I don't really understand it. I don't know what's changed from the Giro till now. So I think maybe somebody has been knocking on the door, and that somebody might have been David Brailsford.
Yeah, it could well be, couldn't it? I think it's not beyond the realms of possibility to think that, although he is saying that, there's no, I don't know, he hasn't been speaking with teams, I find it hard to believe that this hasn't it's either come off of because of the relationship has really soured very quickly with Israel Premier Tech, or that he's heard of other teams being interested and is kind of looking for a legal, legitimate way, as he puts it, to almost get out of the team and go somewhere else. And I think it's kind of, I can understand it. Like you said, he was 4th in the Giro d'Italia. That was a very, very good performance from him. Who knows? Like, he's very much a late bloomer into the sport. You don't know whether he might still get better. Maybe he sees Israel Premier Tech in the future, although they're going World Tour with this next UCI cycle pretty much guaranteed. They've got so many UCI points, it's kind of impossible for them to not to. Maybe he's looking at his future and thinking, well, maybe they're not going to be the team which can support my GC ambitions, and maybe he's trying to get in on another team. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, he was actually down for the welter, which was quite crazy that, yeah, not went to the welter, then did this. I'm thinking, yeah, in history, Roland Dennis, he had like a very abrupt breakup with Bahrain Merida at the time. I think it was Bahrain Merida they were called. But yeah, obviously the Remco one is, as you said, buying out. This is tearing up with his legal representatives, which is like, yeah, well, that's what it is. Is there anyone else but Ineos Grenadiers you could see have kind of maybe been responsible for this kind of ignition in this relationship? Soudal, boom. They filled the hole with Derek G.
Just Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe seemed to sign every single GC contender where he's going. Maybe he's going to go there. It's possible. It's not, as long as it's not beyond the realms of possibility. Who else would I consider? Maybe Bahrain Victorious. I know they sort of have Boitrago and Lenny Martinez, but Caruso's getting towards the end of his career. Maybe Derek G could step into that role. Decathlon seem to be making, obviously they're changing names as well. They're getting like is L'Oreal still coming in as a sponsor or something like that? No, they're getting some new sponsoring. They're on the up. Decathlon. They're getting money basically. Maybe he goes there. EF. I never got Carapaz. Maybe they're looking for another GC contender. I think there's multiple teams that it could be, but I think any one of those would be a good fit, to be honest. And I just presume that's why he's leaving, is that he thinks that the grass will be greener at one of these other established World Tour teams rather than a team which is moving up into the World Tour. Do you think that makes sense?
Maybe it was just sad because Jakob Fuglsang, his right-hand man for most of the season, and last year he retired and left the team. And obviously, Fuglsang also gave some statements about leaving Israel and how, like, the political thing as well. Like, he didn't feel comfortable riding with the jersey because of what's happening overseas. And Alessandro De Marchi said as well.
It's all very forwards and backwards, isn't it? But we're not a geopolitical podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just, this is just cycling.
Yeah, let's not dig too deep because there's many places in cycling where you don't want to get to. That aside, other story or like a rumor, we'll get to the confirmations in a bit, but Juan Ayuso, we talked about this before. Obviously, there's so many ridiculously good riders there. Almeida, Ayuso's currently, Tadej Pogačar, Isaac Del Toro, and then you've got all the guys coming up through the ranks as well. Yeah, Brandon McNulty drive behind. You can, yeah, it's crazy, that team.